You know, guys, I want to talk about this particular set and the impact that it's had on me personally and what I think the hobby is overall because of this set. This set has more nostalgia packed into it than 151. It features some of the most incredible generations of our childhood in one box. I mean, you got Cynthia, you got Giovanni, and you even got Ethan. Gen 2. Gen 2 tends to be a forgotten gen. But this set also represents everything wrong with this hobby. And I personally love it. But the problem with it is that it banks off of nostalgia. And nostalgia, I read once, was coined as the calmest form of pain. And I really think that it does, to a T, cause that. And we're going to get into that and kind of my overall thoughts on what's been happening lately with Pokemon and the general world. Guys, I'm Tyler from Tiger's TCG Den, and today we're going to be talking about a general market overview, but not in Pokemon, but the general market and what's going on in our lives and why things like this are doing so well, and yet when we have opportunity to get into it, the general premise of it has been more negative than positive. People who have been seeing this go down in price are upset that the opportunity for them to make money may be not quick enough. It may be overprinted. It may not be what they want, or their current investments are now suffering because they came in so late. And the thing is that Pokemon was never intended to be an investment, and that is why it does so well as such. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more. And I don't know if this little intro thing kind of hit you in an important place, little heartstrings, but I chose this in particular because it is probably the most nostalgic thing for me personally. Last week, I turned 30. I had hit the big 30, and in that moment, I had a quarter-life crisis, a midlife crisis, some kind of crisis. And one of the things is that the impact of my birthday didn't feel as potent anymore. Something had changed internally, right? And it's not that I didn't enjoy my birthday. I got some gifts, I saw friends and family, but something from my childhood to now has irreversibly changed, and I've come to understand that through my entire 20s, leading up to my birthday just the other day. And one of the things is that nostalgia generates a lot of different emotions. Some of longing, actually most of it from longing, to be honest. But the other thing that it's been recently been centered in my life is that nostalgia now generates greed. Okay? So I took some notes here, right? Some things I wanted to talk about. And one of the first things that I felt was important that I put on here is that nostalgia has the power to turn old IPs and hobbies into extractive assets. And Pokemon proves that. Now, you may have seen the thumbnail and wondered, why did I post that? Well, extractive assets has been something that I think that the general younger population has been suffering from an older generation who have assets that seem unattainable, right? The biggest thing I think to most of us is that we don't feel that we have the possibility to own a home, right? And I just watched a couple videos today talking about nostalgia, and then even Team Rocket Joey, who I enjoy watching, to be honest. He talked about owning a home as a financial asset, right? And I kind of got it. It's not intended to be a financial asset. He was kind of making fun of those who would treat it as such. But at the same time, he did go over the numbers and how absolutely crazy things have gotten, right? I think he talked about like a house only going up 67%. Well, if you have a house that was at 300,000 then it goes up 67%. That puts you somewhere in the late 400,000s, near 500,000 more, probably, right? That means that to buy that same home probably would cost you, when you put in fees and everything, $600,000. And that is a entry level house. You know, it's insane. And so another thing that I wanted to talk about was that because of the high costs, it's causing a situation where people are not going to appreciate these items later on, right? I think that Pokemon has the staying power and the IP to hold on for a long time, but I'm worried about the physical, tangible assets of Pokemon. If Pokemon does not get a handle on the ever-growing demand and inflationary nature of these boxes, it's not going to be something that's obtainable to kids, right? So I chose to use this Gengar today. This is a Diamond and Pearl Gengar Reverse Holo. This was a card that most people would throw away. I chose to keep it as I felt like it was cool, and I should clarify, I bought it at a show, right? I didn't keep this. This isn't my childhood one. I bought it at a show, and I chose to keep it away from my inventory because it made me feel something. Gengar has always been one of my favorite Pokemon, if it's not abundantly clear with all the stuff behind me. But actually my favorite Pokemon is Haunter, and I just realized I don't even have a Haunter right here. I have the Mega Battle Deck Haunter with the promo right there. I don't know if you could see it. Haunter has always been my favorite and my most nostalgic Pokemon, and the main reason for that is because Haunter was the Pokemon that I grew up with. It was the one that I chose to play the game with because I couldn't get a Gengar. I didn't have the link cable to evolve my Gengar or my Haunter. And I kind of came to also realize that kids don't need link cables anymore. Everything is so quick and so digital that getting a Gengar is not a goal, and appreciating a Haunter is not a thing anymore. It's just another Pokemon. It's so easy to obtain things digitally, where back in the day, even on a digital console, you had to go somewhere physically, and you need to have physical items to do things. You need a link cable.
You can't catch all 150 Pokemon by yourself.
So close.
You need a friend to trade with. Hit for lead. So you can grab a link cable and a friend with a Game Boy, and with both packs you can catch them all. Gotcha.
Kids don't need that anymore. The barrier of entry on digital assets and digital items that are ever growing can be printed into forever because it's a digital item. It doesn't matter, right? But these items are physical assets. And going back to the whole housing problem here, we as a community are unable, generally speaking, to own a home at our ages, right? I think I could speak to most people on that. But yet there's some weird glimpse of hope when it comes to this. We are, in effect, extracting our childhood for monetary gain to achieve the unachievable as an adult, which is to own a home. And I'm only talking to investors, and I'm not giving them shade or saying you're wrong. This is something that you're pursuing to try to achieve something that you would otherwise struggle to get. It totally makes sense, right? But the thing is that we're kind of stealing it from the youth, and the emotions that come with all these items disappears. And I'm not saying that kids can't rip packs. They can. The problem is that a kid will look at a Destined Rivals booster box and see the price tag of $350, $400, $600 and go, that's unobtainable. And one of the easy ways that they come to mind is they go, hey, let me get an old card and grade it. And then that card will become $1,000 and then I could buy that, right? But they're not going to open it. I was at a show and this little boy had a Woody doll from Toy Story. And I thought it was super cool. It was like a one-to-one replica, right? And that hit me right in the nostalgia again. And I talked to the little boy and I go, I really like your doll. Where's Woody's hat? And then the mom is like, oh, I keep the hat in my purse, otherwise it gets lost, right? And I go, man, how can you not have Woody's hat? And I go, what about the pull string? Does the pull string work? I want to see it. And they go, it did. The problem is that it broke. He left it in some water. And in my mind, I'm seeing myself be both super excited for this kid to have this really cool doll toy, and then also being disappointed that it's not functional as a replica the way that I would want it, right? And it kind of came full circle, which is that as an adult, I don't want to play with the toys anymore. I want to keep them in boxes and appreciate them for being boxes. That was a motorcycle. But that means that also my era of enjoying these items as a consumable product is pretty much started to end. And I'm going to become more jaded and a little bit more appreciative or less appreciative, excuse me. And I've been vending now for 2 years, and the excitement that I have on seeing these cards is a lot less. It doesn't mean I don't like doing it. I'm still enjoying it a lot. But what I find myself enjoying more is watching people enjoy the cards. Not me consuming and enjoying the cards. I don't rip very often. I do occasionally. There's some great sets that I'd love to rip more of, but I also have to be financially responsible and not rip them. And so overall, I just wanted to talk about this, guys. I really think that the future of our understanding of our childhood is at risk because we are monetizing and extracting these IPs. You know, we see these remakes of video games. I just got the Switch 2. I didn't want the Switch 2. I didn't like all of the software regulations. You couldn't plug in your own USB. I didn't like that there was no game on the cartridge. I didn't like all the legalities that were behind it, coming at it from a legal analysis of what this is. And then the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake gets hit. Or gets released. And suddenly, I'm at Costco with my wife. This is a couple months ago. And I see the Switch 2 on the pallet. Hundreds of them, right? Hundreds and hundreds of pallets of Switch 2s. And I look at her and I go, I would like that for my birthday. Not because I want the Switch 2. But because I want to go back and be a kid again. And that's the truth. And that's why I enjoy doing this. And that's why I enjoy having all of this stuff. It's a everlasting pursuit of enjoying the things that were tangible, that were accessible, that made me happy as a kid. But every iteration of that dilutes a little. And I become more and more jaded by it. That doesn't mean I'm not going to continue to do what I'm doing, right? I'm still going to be the same me. I just really feel like this was an important thing to get off my chest. And most people probably aren't even going to watch it this long. If you watched it, I don't know, type in Zelda, I understand. Let me know what you think. Makes me wonder what happens with all this stuff in 20 years. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.